Hey folks, it's Maxwell here and welcome to a brand new TW9 video. You join us for our AEW show that is Go Home Week for World's End. So yeah, last week of television in 2025. Hopefully I haven't made a mess of the Continental Classic group stage, and if everything goes to plan, it should be pretty epic. So I'm not even going to bother on much. Let's just dive straight in it. We'll start off with Dynamite, usual, Collision, and NRB shows. Let's do it. And in the Yuling Centre, we start off with an absolute banger. In a bout that had superb wrestling and good heat, Jay White drew with Swerve Strickland in a 25-minute time limit expiring draw. 87 for their wrestling, a 72 for the crowd, 87 for the segment as a whole. Jay White with an 89, Swerve an 84, good chemistry together. I felt like these two, obviously, it was pretty much a dead rubber, had nothing really to play for, but still went on to put on a very, very good matchup. Swerve will be taking place on this stack Collision. He'll be facing Rush in that one. So yeah, still plenty of stuff to happen in the Continental Classic, which can set someone up good for 2026 in terms of popularity and momentum. We hear from Athena. She says, last week my minion Billy Stark sadly never got the job done. And whilst I could be angry at her, I noticed she did take Mercedes to her limit. She did inflict some nagging injuries to Mercedes, and most importantly, she's found some weak spots. On Sunday, I take full advantage of that, and I become the women's champion here of the world, here in Athena Elite Wrestling. They say the best wrestler here. I'm the best in this goddamn division. So a 71 segment for those two, or even Billy as well. Storyline advances, gains heat. Of course, this Sunday is Athena versus Mercedes Moné. Then a decent matchup when Megan Bayne defeats Sarie in 6:47 by pinfall. They had a little bit of a back and forth on Rampage. Storytelling matchup, a 60 for the wrestling and a 62 segment overall. Pretty similar in terms of in-ring performances. We then hear from Scott D'Amore. He says, Megan Bayne and Jonah Daddio, we've seen that you've been causing a little mayhem here around in our women's division, and a few people have suffered at your expense. So this Sunday, we're going to have a tag team match. You want people to watch you, Giona? Then why don't they can watch you take on Sarie? And also, looking for revenge, you'll be facing Io Shirai. So Megan and Giona absolutely flip at the nose, but it will be the two of them versus Sarie and Io Shirai this Sunday. 58 segment, Sarie looked lost, but everything else, pretty solid stuff. Next up, with a decent wild brawl that saw Kevin Steen defeat Daniel Garcia in 12:59 with the package pile driver. A 68 for the wrestling and a 70 segment. Steen with a 75 to Daniel's 61. Of course, it doesn't just go there. It's been a brutal war between Steen and Garcia, but one small piece of cheating by Steen gives him an upper hand and he takes the victory. As Garcia staggers to his feet, he motions he wants to keep on fighting, but Steen just absolutely loses it. He continues to beat him down and he throws him to the outside of the ring. He attacks him more before he sets Garcia up and he nails him with the pop-up powerbomb off the apron. Garcia's done. We hear Kevin saying, go on then, give him some sympathy, just like Brian. We then see Garcia start to get stretchered out of the arena by medical staff while Kevin Steen gets on the mic. If you think what I've just done to Garcia is bad, then think about it. He's fairly healthy, or at least he was. Now he's going to the hospital. Just think when I do that to Bryan Danielson, he won't be able to walk again. Lift his kids, nothing. On this Sunday, I'm going to take it all away from Bryan Danielson. So a wee write-off angle there. Both parts of the segment were on a 79. The stunt bump seems to have boosted it up to an 85, but looking forward to this one. Steen, Danielson, this Sunday. Could be incredible. Next up, we hear from Becky Quinn, who says, a lot of baby faces getting beaten up, by the way. Last week, Priscilla Kelly and Chris decided to try and take me out after my win over Priscilla last week. You did okay. I'm a little banged up, and I can't make it there tonight. However, I spoke with Scott D'Amore and Jessie Mackay, and I have spoken that I'll be ready for Sunday. Now, I noticed a little bit earlier tonight, we've got a little thing going for women's tags at World's End. So I said to Scott D'Amore, you don't need to find me a partner. I know someone who wants to come to AEW this time around and make an impact. So ladies, I'll keep you guessing, but this Sunday the numbers are equal. So One line there, take note of why this is a bit more obvious than you think. 80 segment, storyline advances and gains heat. Yeah, it was quite cool to get like Statland and all that on the pay-per-view card, but looking forward to this one. More 80s, and it's about they had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as Ua and Ricochet defeated the Power of Positivity in 12:42, and Ricochet pinned Austin Creed with the Benadryl. This was a Steal the Show matchup, solid stuff all around there. Ricochet bringing a 90, fantastic stuff there. Austin Creed off his game, 80 segment overall. Looking forward to Ua and Ricochet versus the Kings of the Black Throne this Sunday. We then hear from Mark Briscoe before our main event, and he says, "This is all what it comes down to, boy. Tonight I defeat that no good son of a bitch Will Ospreay, and that means on Collision, me and Darby, I'm just going to run for 20 minutes, take the draw, rest up, and get my Continental Classic final underway on Sunday. Ospreay, you've caused chaos to me, but I've destroyed you once, twice, and I know you don't want this shit anymore. So do the right thing tonight. Don't even show up." So 75 for the Mark Briscoe promo. Storyline with him and Ospreay gains heat. And they had a good matchup, and it saw Will Ospreay defeat Mark Briscoe in 21:49 with a hidden blade. Briscoe's getting a bit stale, which is a shame, but a 79 for the wrestling, 74 crowd, 82 segment. Ospreay brought a 90, Mark Briscoe 68. Yeah, Mark Briscoe, the pressure is on, meaning that Will Ospreay has done it. He's overcame the odds, and whilst mathematically he cannot win the group, he gives himself some great momentum to take into 2026. And has caused chaos going into the final match. Mark Briscoe is freaking out. He's got a chair and he's smashing it all around the ringside area. It has all come down to this Saturday on Collision. Mark Briscoe, Darby Allin, the winner is in the final. If they draw, they're both in the final. Who makes it to the final in Collision at World's End? Well, we'll find out next part of the episode. 77 segment, the storyline advances. 81 for the overall show rating. Popularity increases in 6 of the lesser regions. And obviously the matches, well, seeing that Ospreay and Mark Briscoe did. Yeah, I suppose none of their matches were furthered with storylines. It was all kind of angles, but I think it sets up the pay-per-view card pretty well. So that, and obviously the Continental Classic, will round up after Collision. Speaking of which, let's move along. Collision this week is held at the Mississippi Coast Coliseum. It's our last show, or last A show before the pay-per-view, so everything is kind of put into place. We start off with about they had some superb wrestling and good heat. In their final matches within the Continental Classic, Kinosuke Takeshita defeats Claudio Castagnoli in 20 minutes and 3 with a touchdown. An 89 rated segment, phenomenal stuff here, 92 for the wrestling. Both guys having great chemistry together, and that showed in their performances. 88 and 97 is utterly insane, and the lack of psychology probably hampered us for being a 92, 93, but great stuff there. Pretty much in this mod, Takeshita as a cheat code, which, to be honest, in real life, it probably is as well. But yeah, it's good to see Claudio still getting those great matches at this point. Absolutely delighted with that one. And yeah, nice opener. So we hear from Jessie McKay, that's our women's matchmaker, and she says, "Now over the last month you've saw some of our best wrestlers participate in the Continental Classic, truly showing we're the best wrestle. Now, we've an extremely strong women's division here in AEW, and it's one thing we think is going to blossom. So we'll give you a little heads up that you're going to start to see some new faces in the upcoming months. I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and do the massive tournament I did last year. It just does a lot of women coming in, but because it's that way, I'm obviously chasing high scores, so yeah, getting as much depth as possible, and probably might even make a 5th show, a wee show for the women, just to help them develop as well. So yeah, you'll see that. Yeah, I think one should appear tomorrow, like on the pay-per-view, and then it's like a few in the month of December, even January, and some into February, just the way the contracts have worked out. Thanks WWE. So speaking of the women's division, we have the EW Women's Champion alongside Bayley with Renee Paquette. So Renee says, "Ladies and gentlemen, joining me at this time, we have Bayley and the AEW Women's World Champion, Mercedes Moné. So Mercedes, tomorrow night you have Athena. How are you feeling ahead of that matchup?" And Mercedes goes, "Oh Renee, you know I'm on top of the world. I'm ready to defend this championship, and just like I did to her little minion, I'm going to stomp all over Athena and stay champion. Renee says, Bailey, moving on to you. You seem to have some issues not only with Queen Aminata, but Toni Storm as well. And Bailey says, yeah, I don't know what's got into both of these weirdos' heads getting into my business, but Toni's been awfully disrespectful to me the last few weeks. I think she's truly underestimating me. It's such a shame that I can't get my hands on her. And Renee goes, oh, you don't know? We've had it confirmed by Tony Khan and the matchmaking team that you and Toni will go one-on-one tomorrow night on pay-per-view. And then she just goes, what the hell? You're kidding me. Proper freak out. It's a storyline I've more built up on Shockwave. But yeah, I've just wanted to make sure I was getting Toni on pay-per-view. And Toni and Bailey is two good names for that. So a 70 rated segment. The storyline with the Women's Championship continues. Next up in the Continental Classic, it was about to had some great wrestling and good heat as Kyle Fletcher defeats Sami Zayn in 15-19 with the Grimstone. This was our storytelling matchup of the evening. Sami is having an absolute mare since he's joined us from WWE. He had a performance of 69, he was off his game. Kyle Fletcher brought a 92. Utterly phenomenal. Still makes it an 80-80 segment. I think it may be capped here because of 15 minutes, but at the same time, I do appreciate Sami. Didn't quite help here. A good one for Fletcher. So Kyle heads to the back, he bumps into Don Callis, and Don Callis says that Kyle Fletcher, just like Takeshita earlier on tonight, was spectacular. A true glimpse into the future of not just AEW, but into this industry. And you know what? I have an offer. Let me help mould those skills into a truly world-class athlete who can win championship after championship. And don't worry, don't have to give me your answer just yet, kid. Think about it. You're going places. So a 77 segment here, and yeah, good stuff. I'm loving this. I've never changed his picture to the bald. Probably should do that at one point. Next up was in the Continental Classic, and I had a feeling it was going to happen this way because they didn't click. It was awful chemistry, but it's over and done with. It was about to have some great heat and decent wrestling as Kazuchika Okada defeats Eddie Kingston in 11:41 with the Rainmaker. Made it storytelling, so it took the punishment there. It was the final matchup of the Continental Classic Blue Group, and yeah, Okada wins. 5 from 5. Has never lost a matchup in the Continental Classic. 5 from 5 this year. Last year he had 4 from 5, but a draw. And then, of course, he won it last year, retaining his championship. But yeah, pretty poor stuff overall. And a 67. But just a little segment after that, just Excalibur confirming it. Greatest tournament wrestler has done it again. Okada, just like last year, wins the group. And has a chance to go back to back and reclaim the Continental Championship. 88. We then have a little promo, first off from Adam Cole. And he says, last week on Shockwave, I embarrassed Kip Sabian, and then, for no good reason, Nick Wayne and AJ Styles decide to run out here and get their noses in Undisputed Kingdom business. You know what? It's fine. I respect AJ, and Nick's a hell of a prospect. But if you think you can carry such a loser like Kip Sabian, then bring it. That's how confident I am. We'll put the trios titles up for grabs because Kip is a loser. He's the weak link, and you can't protect him at all costs now. Can you, Uncle Al? This leads to AJ Styles coming out flanked by Kip and Nick Wayne. And he goes, Adam Cole, you disrespectful little bitch. Some things haven't changed then, but one day they will. I won't be around here, and talents like Nick and Kip will be the future of this company. And with the right leadership, which you've saw so far with Nick, these talents can flourish. Boom. So setting up that trios matchup is going to be Undisputed Kingdom putting those belts in a line against Kip Sabian, Nick Wayne and AJ Styles. The AJ and Nick stuff loses heat, which is a shame. Kip looked dreadful, but we'll see if we can work with it. Into the other group in the Continental Classic, and it was the spare matches from Dynamite. We had about that had some great wrestling and good heat. Swerve Strickland defeats Rush in 17:39 with the Swerve Stomp. 84 for the wrestling, 70 crowd, 84 segment overall. Good chemistry between them, which was nice to see, and I actually felt these two would have a psychology penalty, but that didn't occur. So yeah, solid stuff here, and a good win for Swerve Strickland. We then hear from the Young Bucks and Hangman, and we basically have Matthew Jackson starting off with us saying, Max, when you first started here in AEW, it was ourselves alongside Cody who scouted and recruited you here. Now we knew you had talent, We knew you were kind of a douchebag too, but you know, we need strong characters. But that ego has continued to grow, and we think it's time you get knocked down a peg or two. So Hangman then says, so Max, we've had it confirmed. Maybe thanks to our EVPs getting a word into the matchmakers, but if we can defeat your cronies at World's End, then we can get our hands on all 4 of you. We just need to name the time and the place. And trust me, that place that you'll be getting dragged through, or will be you getting dragged through hell, basically. So, big stakes. Max is going to be in commentary. It's the 3v3. It's going to be the Young Bucks and Hangman against Yuta, Wardlow and Ricky Starks. Big win possible for Hangman and the Bucks, and we'll see how that goes. But that is an 80 rated segment. Run through the full card at the end of the video after we do the B shows. And the main event flopped. That's a shame. Wild Brawl, that had some good heat and decent wrestling. Darby Allin defeats Mark Briscoe in 15-16 with the coffin drop. This matchup was the last matchup in the group for the Gold group. And yeah, Darby Allin prevails. 72 wrestling, 74 for the crowd in a 75 segment. The Ospreay Briscoe storyline advances because obviously Briscoe is going to go into a matchup with Ospreay. We'll confirm that in a minute. But Darby, 75, Mark 68. So yeah, Darby Allin will defend his championship and a chance to win the Continental Classic as he battles the former champion and last year's winner, Kazuchika Okada. And we have that confirmed here. Darby Allin has overcome the lunatic Mark Briscoe, which means he has that date, defending his championship in the Continental Classic in line against Okada. Again, just stating Okada has never lost a Continental Classic matchup. He's won every one, but a draw with Roderick Strong. Also, as a result of this, we will see the participant in the Continental Classic in matches tomorrow night on pay-per-view. Jay White will team up with Mark Briscoe and Rush to battle Sir Strickland and Will Ospreay and a to-be-confirmed partner, whilst Claudio Castagnoli teams with Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita to battle Sami Zayn, Eddie Kingston, who will also have a to-be-confirmed partner. We will look forward to seeing you tomorrow night, or in a few days in real life, for that pay-per-view. But good stuff there. Basically, the 2BCs, I do not know at this point who they're going to be. I'm going to write my card out, and obviously, there's 6 people in the groups. 1 person for each group is one to get through, so there's 5. So we'll see what we get, because there's plans in place for everything else. So 88 for that one. We don't lose Pop, which is good. We only would have lost Pop in the US anyway, being a collision. Bit disappointed that Darby and Mark kind of struggled a bit. As I say, we probably could have looked a bit an 80 rated, maybe even at the mid 80s if we'd Takeshita and Claudio main event, but it's fine, it's cool. That's cool. We kind of run with that as a main event. But looking forward to the pay-per-view. And again, there was storylines covered. Maybe mostly in segments. But yeah, that's going to be in the Continental Classic anyway. So there will be a lot more storyline matches going forward. I never checked this last time. Julia Hart and Ryo Mizunami had to be separated. But I'll go and book Shockwave. And then we'll have a look over everything in the main screen. So let's get this rounded up then. There's a lot to cover before we can then head to tomorrow's pay-per-view. So we can see here Collision, vast majority like the show. Shockwave, people enjoyed it. Anything else here that directly affects us? Killer Kelly and Kenzie Page are bonding well in a Ring of Honor locker room. That's good to see. The Mavericks, Kenzie Page and Leon Slater are tagging up. So you can see the kind of people we've got down there in Ring of Honor. I don't think there's anything that directly affects us. We have a potential signing. It's a renewal of AR Fox, and it is the acquisition of King Kota will be coming to AEW. This is one of the female wrestlers that will be here. She's 25 days. There's another one. There's a wee spoiler for who's pretty much likely to come in as well over the next month or so. So you can see here, WWE have made an offer for Mina Shirakawa. We aren't using her a lot, but I would still prefer to keep her. So she'll be going on to a written contract because of WWE's shenanigans. We've got the money away, so we'll just give her a 3-year deal. I normally wouldn't go that high, but will the save go 3 years at the pace we play at? There's that as well. Usual kind of ratings for Collision and Shockwave, and Wheeler Yuta's getting good in the ring. So that's good to see. Going to start off with the B shows first. We'll go to Rampage. Tekla with the win over Hikaru Shida was a 65. with an Anna Jay vignette. We're going to get a lot of these just to try and help develop our skill set, because she is apparently like really a good prospect in this, so we'll try and make it work for her. It was a 62. Masha Slamovich over Thunder Rosa was a 54. Wee segment between Athena and Billy Starks after the defeat to Mercedes was a 67. I'd Pac defeat Rocky Romero on a 6-1, which has given Pac a fractured cheekbone, so that was fun. Wee angle from Gabe Kidd, and then he defeats Kenta. I'm pretty sure Kenta is leaving shortly. Yep, 21 days. So the plan was a tag team with him and Shibata, and I just never went through it. So yeah, just going to let Kenta go. That's fine, as soon as his contract has expired. Actually, a very good Shockwave, which I was shocked at. But a lot of these do kind of add up with storylines, so we'll speak on them as we go along. Powerhouse Hobbs over Johnny Gargano was a 78. We then had some words from Jamie Hayter in 83 before she defeated Serena Deeb in a 77, so that was impressive. Another segment for Anna Jay was a 64. In the women's division, we had the trios match. It saw the team of Queen Aminata, Willow Nightingale, and Takuma Aroha defeat Azumi and the Money Corporation's Nixon No and Sky Blue. That was a 72. Johnny Gargano then bumped into the Young Bucks backstage and just basically said, I know he's looking for an extra man, but the way I've been, I need something to inspire me to get me back on the right track, and I just feel I'd be letting these down. So that was a 71. Billy Starks over Emi Sakura was a 74. We then had Swerve Strickland bump into Orange Cassidy, which was a 71, so you're likely going to see Orange Cassidy join Swerve and Ospreay. We had Wheeler Yuta defeat Sammy Guevara in the main event in a 72, before Yuta had some words for Sammy Guevara post-match, which was a 53. Exciting stuff. So I'll quickly move over to the Continental Classic. You can see there are no active tournaments. I do need to end them though. Or do they just go straight to completing now? That's ideal. So, Dynamite, you can see there Darby Allin with 4 wins from 5, with Will Ospreay with 3 wins from 5 alongside Mark Briscoe. Swerve on 7 points, and then Rush on 3, with Jay White getting 4. So that draw with Swerve was a good opportunity to give him some points. In comparison to the group last year, I found this quite intriguing when I look back to see who was in it. When I had like Lashley, Orange Cassidy, Yuta, Daniel Garcia, Adam Page and Takeshita. So I did change it up quite considerably. Especially look at the blue group as well. Okada, Joe, Jay White, Roddy, Shibata and Sammy. In the blue group this time had Okada with 5 wins from 5, Fletcher with 4 wins from 5, followed by Takeshita on 7, Castagnoli on 6, Eddie with 3, and then that 1 point for Sami Zayn. So we will run down the card for the pay-per-view then that you'll be seeing in the next couple of days. It will be for the AEW World Championship, Bryan Danielson defending against Kevin Steen. The AEW Continental Classic will be on the line as it's Darby Allin versus Kazuchika Okada. It's the AEW Women's World Championship as Athena challenges Mercedes Moné. TBS Championship on the line as Mariah May defends against Maya Yamashita. AEW TNT Championship on the line, Samoa Joe defends against Zack Sabre Jr. It is going to be Swerve Strickland, Will Ospreay and Orange Cassidy versus Jay White, Mark Briscoe and Rush. We'll also see Sami Zayn, Eddie Kingston and a to-be-confirmed partner take on Kyle Fletcher, Kinosuke Takeshita and Claudio Castagnoli. We are going to see Ua and Ricochet defend the AEW tag titles against Brody King and Malachi Black of the Kings of the Black Throne. The AEW Trios Championship will be on the line as it's going to be AJ Styles, Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian challenging the Undisputed Kingdom, Cole, Strong and O'Reilly. Becky Quinn will get a mystery tag team partner to take on Priscilla Kelly and Chris Statlander. We're going to see Hangman Adam Page and the Bucks take on Wardlow, Ricky Starks and Wheeler Yuta. Hangman and the Bucks can get their hands on MJF in the future if they can pick up the win. We're going to see Bayley take on Toni Storm. And that last matchup is going to be Io Shirai and Sarii taking on Megan Bayne and Gianna Daddio. I don't think I've missed anything. I have missed one thing I haven't written down. AEW International Championship, Walter versus Ilya Dragunov, which should be incredible. So you've got all that to look forward to, and there's a hell of a lot of people missing in that card, which is the scary thing of how bloated the roster is, but it's me and TW in it. I want all my favourites. So thanks for watching, much appreciated. If you did enjoy it, a wee thumbs up is appreciated. And as always, check out the Fantasy Booker subreddit, Grey Dog Software Forum, bethebooker.net and TW. twdb.com. twdb.com even. You can tell I've not really had to use anything recently, but we'll still always give it plugs because it gives an opportunity for update resources. But yeah, just watching. Take it easy. See you in a few days. Bye.